In 1965, NASCAR rider Benny Phillips first termed this place the Lady in Black. At the time, he was comparing the racetrack to a spy, and terming the track as a place that was just, as it would later be known, too tough to tame. And drivers have tried to tame it ever since. Drivers have tried to win here more than once, and some have been successful across the NASCAR circuit, but no driver has truly ever been able to fully solve the beast that is Darlington Raceway. That is the location for tonight's 10th round of the Challenger Cup Series. Good evening from the low country of South Carolina. You're watching PGR eSports coverage of the Challenger Cup Series Race 10 at Darlington. My name is Dawson Wise, going to be taking you through all of the action here throughout the night tonight. Looking forward to another great race in the Challenger Cup Series. We're past the midway point in the season. The playoff push has officially begun. If you're under the cut line or without a win, needing momentum to begin your push to be a Challenger Cup Series champion, perhaps that push begins here tonight at the Lady in Black. Again, 10th round of the season tonight. This second season of 2025 has featured all kinds of different racing, several different winners, a ton of great storylines, and those surely will continue tonight on one of NASCAR's most technically challenging racetracks. It's uneven, it is unique, and it is one of the toughest places we will go. It is mostly flat. There are really only two grooves you can run unless you're daring enough to run up by the wall and get yourself a Darlington stripe, or run down on the flat and potentially risk spinning your race car. We'll see what drivers decide to do tonight. It will be 160 laps around this place in the NASCAR Gen 7 race cars here tonight. 160 is the number, I believe. I had heard 165. I believe we are going 160 tonight here at Darlington. Not many tires in the pits either for this, what is actually a 165 lap event tonight. Not many tires in the pits. There were 2 extra sets advertised. They may have given them 1 more in the pits than we initially anticipated. Not a lot, though, are in the pits for drivers in the event that they will need more tires here throughout the course of the night. With no further ado, let's head down trackside and get you ready for Race 10 of the Challenger Cup Series here in Darlington. So we will head down to track level and get you ready for what should be a good one tonight. What eventually will likely be under the lights at the Darlington Raceway. Let's get down to business. Here's tonight's starting grid, presented by PGR eSports, Race 10 of Season 2 of 2025 of the Challenger Cup Series. On the pole, with a quick time of 29.165 seconds, it's the driver of the 30 machine. Some throwback colors aboard that race car tonight. It's the 30 of Ryan Patty, already a 2-time winner in his Challenger Cup Series career, in his debut at Watkins Glen before going immediately back-to-back with a win under the lights in Richmond a couple of weeks ago. He'll go from pole position into his outside. It's a man who loves Darlington Raceway. It's Cody Eldred in the 34 machine. He'll go from position number 2. On row 2, it's the points leader. It's the 29 of Christian Strader, though his lead has slimmed into a tie coming into this week. But the winningest driver in the series, another driver that really likes the banks of Darlington Raceway, multi-time winner here in the leagues that I have watched him in, sure to be one of the favorites here tonight in the Reese's Mustang. His outside in 4th, it's going to be James Catrona, the 38. Great qualifying effort for that driver, as he could use a good run tonight here at Darlington Raceway. Row 3 going to be Travis Everett in the 13, and Harold Watkins in the 3 machine. Row 4 going to be Rusty Modesty, last week's winner from Daytona, his first win of his Challenger Cup Series career last week on the high banks. He'll start 7th tonight in Darlington, looking to back up his performance with another good one tonight at the track Too Tough to Tame. It's Andrew Little to his outside in the 8th position, in the 60 at the Waterford Concept Chevy. Row 5 going to be GT Iriziri, the Motorcraft Mustang Dark Horse, and outside of him, the 84 of John Velasquez, the old blue, black, and gray colors aboard that 84 machine. Familiar look tonight. He'll start from 10th. On row 6, it's going to be Matt Hayden in the 5. Some new Oakley colors aboard that number 5 machine tonight. It is outside with a GTCR Motorsports entry of Garrett Caswell. Back on row 7, it's going to be Steve Potter making his series return tonight in the 94. It is outside, it's Harold Rothery in the 7 machine. Row 8 going to be Brandon Beauchamp in the 15. Stephen Luttrell, the Atlanta winner, will start from P16, looking to back up his podium run from last week in Daytona. And final row in the field, it's going to be Jimmy Fitzmaurice in the 33 and Greg Bourbonniere in the Miller 00. 18 cars here at Darlington will await the green flag here at about half a lap's time. Again, it is 165 laps tonight in Darlington. The stage will come to an end at the conclusion of lap 41. There are not a lot of tires in the pits for these race cars. We'll see how everyone decides to use those, and when you decide to put them on. The end of stage 1 may be too early for some guys to put on a set of Goodyear Eagles. We'll see what these drivers decide to do. The playoff push continues and makes a stop in the low country of South Carolina. Ryan Patty tracks the field off turn number 4, and we're ready to go racing on another Tuesday night. Down to the start-finish line, they await the green flag. Barney has it in hand. They wait on the signal. Green flag is in the air. We're racing in Darlington. One lap down, long way to go. 164 is the laps to go marker. Patty leads lap 1, but he's got some company here on the back bumper, and that is the racist Mustang Dark Horse at Brown Ford. Out back of the leader, that is Christian Schrader again, a man who has won here at Darlington before, and looking to go and get another one here at Darlington Raceway in Season 2. He's already got the most wins in the series so far this season, looking to extend that lead here tonight. Ryan Patty looking for win number 3 of his career. Meanwhile, James Catrone makes a pass out back. That's for the 3rd position as he's followed by Travis Everett and Harold Watkins. The man who is going backwards is Cody Eldred. Unsure what the problem is aboard the 34, but the damage on the right front tells me he's already had an interaction with the infamous Darlington outside safer barrier. Eldred drops 2nd to 12th. And we'll settle in there for the opening stage of this race. Patty continues to lead. That glare off of turn 4, certainly going to present a problem for the drivers, presenting a problem for myself as well right now in dealing with the light coming off of the racetrack, and surely will provide some issues throughout the evening. Out back battle for 4th. Harold Watkins gets that spot. Rusty Modesty's going to try to make it 2 for 1 as he goes to the inside of Everett. That will be for 5th. He'll drive up alongside the Black Rifle Mustang, but Everett rolls the outside against the safer barrier, and we'll get the spot off turn 4 and down the front stretch. They will drag race again here to 1, however. Modesty hangs tough. To the inside he goes. Everett going to try to cross over. Modesty throws the slider, and Everett has to jump out of the throttle. Modesty on to 5th. So Everett on now a backslide. 1 spot lost so far. Man, another interaction with the outside wall back behind those guys. That looked like might have been Eldred once again that got the outside wall. Could have been Garrett Caswell as well in the 77. That had an interaction with the outside retaining wall. Ryan Patty has started to drive away just a little bit from Christian Schrader. It's about 3/10 of the gap up front, lap 6 on the board. They will go up and down pretty quickly here tonight if these guys are able to keep it green. Back here, bit of a battle starting for the 7th position. Matt Hayden, another guy that's run well at Darlington here in the past, and he's up already 3 spots from his 11th place starting position. Biggest mover on the field is actually the Oakley Chevrolet. Nope, I beg your pardon. It is the 00, the Miller Toyota of Greg Bourbonniere, who's on the move. He started shotgun on the field tonight in 18th. He's made his way up 4 spots to the 14th position. Back up here to this battle that was going to be between Hayden and Irizarry. Now it's between a pair of teammates. Irizarry on the back bumper of Travis Everett, who is trying to avoid sliding 1 more spot further back into the 7th position, currently occupied by Irizarry. Meanwhile, Garrett Caswell's up 2 from where he started. The black, purple, and yellow back aboard that 77 for GTCR tonight, as Garrett Caswell continues to try to gain some momentum back. The finishes just have not been there for him so far in his Challenger Cup Series career. The running position is good, but he has not been able to finish a ton of runs in the way that he would want. That's the case for several drivers, I think, that in last season's standings finished up near the top, and that includes guys like Irizarry to a degree, and even guys like Travis Everett to a bit of a lesser degree. But a couple of guys, and we mentioned last week the slow start to the season for Harold Watkins as well. Some guys that were in the Final Four or were very close to making a championship appearance at Pocono just did not get the starts they wanted, and some have seen that summer slump now start to tread closer and closer to September. Now, a long way to go this season, and certainly a few of those guys are very high in points, run consistently enough to be up in the points and get stage points as well. But, I mentioned earlier in the season how it just felt like a couple of the Final Four, a couple of the Final 8 just had not regained their stride from season 1 of this year. And meanwhile, on the other side of that, a guy who started really well and now has kind of started to slump here into the month of August and September, at least in terms of his finishes, is the man running in the second position right now here, Christian Schrader. We're up here covering a battle for third that's about to begin between Catrone and Watkins. But I wanted to cover Schrader as well because, Christian Schrader started the season and rattled off 3 wins pretty quickly, and ever since, in terms of the finishing department, has kind of gone a little bit ice cold as we've gotten here into the months of August and September. And you don't want to be the guy that peaks too early. I don't think we're to that territory with Christian Schrader yet. There's a long way to go in this second season. But I think if you're Schrader, you want to get that back on the right track, get a good finish tonight in Darlington. Even if it's not a win, I think he'd take a podium finish to get his season back on the right track. We mentioned Catrone as well, the 38, the Oscar Mayer Chevy. Could really use a good run tonight in that machine. Coming into tonight, leaving Daytona last week, Catrone was 9th in the standings, gained 2 spots last week, but looking to keep it up, trying to chase down the top 8 in front of him in points to get a better playoff seed heading into the postseason. As we get ready to make trips to a couple more unique racetracks here going forward. Obviously, Darlington this week, Gateway next week, Bristol, one of my favorite racetracks the week after that. So, some interesting racetracks coming up. Only, I want to say 5 races left in the regular season, counting tonight as we head for Kansas on September the 30th. We get to the month of October, the playoffs begin, and then obviously you got to be on your game in a big way. Continue to watch this battle for third. Christian Schrader's lost another couple tenths. Ryan Patty starting to set sail, and I think, after his qualifying lap, after the practice laps, I think you kind of saw this coming, but Patty begins to pull away again. Christian Schrader going to have to try to find a way to get back to him. This is the battle developing for third. Catrone has it. Watkins has been on his back bumper, kind of knocking on the door. Not getting too dangerously close yet, but definitely making his presence felt. But another man has entered this battle, and that is Rusty Modesty in that 6 machine. He's +2 already on the night from 7th to 5th. The Daytona winner last week, I asked him in that post-race interview if that was going to be, kind of a momentum shifter, I guess, if you will. He's had a good season, don't get me wrong. We left Daytona coming out of last week. In terms of the point standings, Modesty was well off in points. In fact, very much so. He's 4th in points leaving the Daytona race last week and only 23 points behind the leader. But it was more so race-winning pace, more so having that top 3 speed week in, week out, and he made it very clear that a win can definitely help kind of boost that. Now, look at some of the speed he's got underneath the hood of this thing this week. Watkins is going to get his first Darlington stripe here tonight off the exit of Turn 4. It allows the door to open for the Rusty Modesty machine, but he can't take advantage there. He'll have to reset, try it again here on the exit of Turn number 2. You're going to see a variation of lines tonight between guys. Some guys will roll all the way around the bottom on both ends of the racetrack. Some guys will diamond the corner like you saw Modesty do right there, where you drive it in deep and let the car roll out to the wall and then exit on the high side, kind of use that banking, use the momentum off the banking of the corner. Some guys will run up near the wall all night long and try to just maximize that exit speed. You'll see all kinds of different lines used tonight. You see Modesty kind of drives it in a little deep, lets it roll way out to the safer barrier, and then gets back in the gas so he can straighten his exit. Right there, not very effective, though. Here comes Travis Everett. He wants the 5th position for Modesty. Irizarry going to try to follow him through, and Matt Hayden has joined this fray as well. Everett on the inside, puts 2 tires down below the dash line, gets alongside Modesty with the outside wheel prevail here in Turn 3 for now. Modesty has to lift. Everett's alongside him. The help goes with Modesty, not for long. Now the help goes with Everett on the bottom, and Travis Everett may take this spot here in the 1, and he will. Modesty lifts out of the throttle, going to try to cross him back over. Can he get there? No, he cannot. We'll see if he can get anything here on exit. He will not. Travis Everett moves into the 5th position. So Good one already from the Darlington Raceway. 18 laps in, almost halfway into the opening stage. As Travis Everett now tries to chase down the next two cars in line, fourth and third. And Irizarry chases down Modesty. Meanwhile, Strader has cut about a tenth off of the lead of Ryan Patty up front, but it continues to be the 30 leading after 19 laps. In terms of guys that are on the move, it still continues to be Bourbonier that is your biggest mover, +4. Next best is Hayden, +3, and he's got a couple cars here in front of him he's trying to get past. Irizarry going to come alongside Rusty Modesty on the exit of turn 4. He'll get that spot. Hayden's going to try to make it 2 for 1 and go up +4. Irizarry now +3, gets turned. Into the wall goes the Motorcraft Mustang. Irizarry is sideways, and the caution's going to come out on a misjudgment on the entry of turn number 1. And it tends to happen at Darlington. You want to get up to the wall to kind of set up your corner, and I think Irizarry started to turn up the hill just a moment too soon and got out of shape off the bumper of Rusty Modesty. You saw it happen live. Let's go take a look and see if that was the case. So we can find a little bit better angle than this. Here we go. It's a good one right here, looking right down the front stretch through the fence. Does Modesty just turn up the hill, or does Irizarry just turn up the hill going into 1? Maybe a little bit of both. Modesty comes off the wall about a half a foot. Looked like Irizarry was trying to go up. Maybe he thought he was going to be clear, and he is not. Noses into the outside wall. You see Modesty get a piece of the wall as well. So, pair of cars involved in the opening caution of this race. Doesn't appear that either will have any kind of major damage. We'll have to double check on those cars. Obviously, both will come to pit road and grab some repairs under this, the first caution of the night. Let's take a look from up top. See if that gives us any other indication here than just misjudgment here going into the corner. You see, Irizarry's on track to get the spot. It is just a little bit of both. Modesty's turning down, Irizarry's turning up, and they come together on the entry of the corner. So misjudgment both ways there. Again, at Darlington, it's a lot more close quarters. It tends to happen when you get into a tough spot like that where you are going to be clear probably on entry. We just saw Travis Everett a moment ago, actually, get his tail clear of GT Irizarry going into the corner, and Modesty, going into the corner, and he was able to take the spot away and drive away. Irizarry, I think, tried to do the same thing, and he just wasn't quite clear when he made that move to the outside. And Modesty was just trying to turn into the corner, and unfortunately for him, again, they just both misjudged just the slightest bit. 22 laps up and down at the Darlington Raceway. I believe the top about 9 on the speedway stayed out. Back to Stephen Luttrell. Rusty Modesty the first on pit road. Half in, half out in terms of the pit laps. Jimmy Fitzmaurice has actually, as of now, called it a night as of lap 16. Unsure what the issue was. I did not see any indication that car had any trouble. So technical issue or some other circumstance for Jimmy Fitzmaurice cost him to take the 33 behind the inside wall on lap 16. Well, Ryan Patty continues to lead. Christian Strader is trying to solve this puzzle that really no one has been able to solve so far in the career of Ryan Patty in this series. It's a short one, but a dominant one, other than last week in Daytona, which I think you can write off, as Daytona's a bit of a wild card. Patty ran well in that race too, but he won Watkins Glen and Richmond to open his career. So Patty and the Grillo's Pickles, a new look for him, number 30 machine tonight. Continues to lead. Lap 23 will come off the board. It will be 18 laps to go in stage number 1. Field works off turn 4. Ryan Patty, Christian Strader on the front row once again. They await the green flag. There it is, green flag in the air. We're back racing at Darlington. Tell you what, Ryan Patty's got starts and restarts down. That was another good one right there. for the driver of the 30. Watkins going to get the outside wall. A couple other cars out back had their first interactions with the Darlington stripe. As they work up off turn 4 once again, this time Strader stays close again. He stayed close on the opening start. He stayed close right here. See if he's figured anything out from that driver. Big movers now. Bourbonnier staying out on that caution. He's up to P7. Now again, those guys behind him are on maybe a little bit newer tires. We'll see if anybody took tires right there. Again, limited sets in the pits. But Bourbonnier for now holds on to 7th. He is plus 11 on the night. He could really use that run for the 00. John Velasty, Matt Hayden, pair of plus 5 for those guys. Velasty into the top 5 for the first time tonight. Hayden wants that spot, though, in the 5 machine. Battle out back. That's Little and Everett. That is for what I believe to be the 9th position on the speedway. But it's Ryan Patty that continues to lead. So they work down the Boeing backstretch and into turn 3. Lights starting to come on at Darlington. Sun setting behind the grandstands. And with the fencing update they've done at Darlington, obviously it's hard to see through that fence. So I want to use that camera angle so bad. It's just hard to use it when you can't see through the fence poles as to who is leading the race. So we'll see what I can do to remedy that. Let's go back here. There's about to be a battle for the 5th position. Matt Hayden's there. He wants the spot. See if we can get it on Velocity. Strader loses some time. Harold Watkins starting to run him down. He got Catrone for the 3rd spot on the restart. Harold Watkins trying to chase a 2nd position. Big run from Matt Hayden off the corner. He's going to look to the inside. On Velocity into 3. He's got to run. Velocity lets him go, and Matt Hayden's into the top 5 for the first time tonight. How about plus 6 for the driver of the Oakley Chevrolet? So he gets to 5th. Velocity now 6th. Modesty back has recovered to 7th. GT Erzeri, the other driver involved in that caution, has made up a couple spots since the restart. He's 14th on the speedway. That's as far as he has gotten. Cody Eldred started 2nd tonight. He's logged back in the 11th position. So, ooh, Modesty got the wall right there. Andrew Little's going to get him for 7th. So working to turn 3. Off turn 4, Garrett Caswell starts to move through the field just a tad. He's up to 9th in the 77, plus 3 from where he started. And here's about to be a battle for the 4th spot. Matt Hayden's on the move in the Oakley Chevrolet. He's got something on the long run here. Last time by, fastest car on track is Ryan Patty, and then Strader. But the fastest man not named one of those two was Hayden and Andrew Little. For 4th, Catrone in the wall. Hayden's going to get to him. P4 now for Matt Hayden as Catrone backslides just a tad. He's back to 5th. And Velasty and Little both on the way. Caswell, by the way, on Modesty. That is for 8th. Garrett Caswell, the GTCR Motorsports Premier Racing setup Chevrolet up to position number 8. And we'll chase John Velocity for position number 7. Cody Eldred's re-entered this fray. He is right behind Travis Everett in 11th, but he's in this group trying to get some of his spots back after the early hiccups. Tell you what, Matt Hayden's on the move here in that 5 car. He's catching Harold Watkins last time. His lap time actually was not on par with the leaders. Not sure what happened there. But Strader's caught the lap time of Ryan Patty now. As out back, we got to pass Matt Hayden that time by a little bit quicker. And actually, the fastest car on the racetrack last time was Matt Hayden in the 5. See if that trend continues. He's 2.7 seconds back of the leader. Catrone's got a hornet's nest behind him. 4 cars have lined up. Soon to be 6 with Eldred and Modesty that all want that position from him. Little going to take another look here, watching the battle from 5th on back. As Hayden continues to try to run down Watkins. Man, big run through the middle of the corner. Andrew Little, that was almost an awkward interaction there. Almost an awkward one coming off of 4 as they make some contact. Andrew Little goes by, so does Caswell. Now all of a sudden, Catrone's backslid to 7th. As Little and Caswell move on through. Caswell +6. Matt Hayden +7, the biggest movers on the night, along with Bourbonier still +6 in 12th. Everett on Velocity, that's for 8th. Travis Everett, the winner at Talladega a season ago, and nearly won Bristol, where we go in 2 weeks. So Travis Everett looking for some good runs on the unique ovals here coming up. A few of them in a row. It's actually unique how the schedule works out. Darlington, Gateway, Bristol are all unique configurations of racetrack. They're all uneven. They all have to be driven a certain way. And they're all bang, bang, bang in 3 weeks in a row. So Travis Everett looking to thrive on some of these tracks. He wants the 7th position from James Catrone. He will side draft him here down the front stretch. Velocity and Eldred are in this battle as Eldred enters the top 10 for the first time. Everett slides, trying not to spin the car. He will make the save. It's a great save by Travis Everett, but he'll lose those positions. He's back to the 11th spot. Eldred on Velocity. That is for 9th. Excuse me, it'd be for 8th for Cody Eldred, trying to make his return into the top 10 and trying to drive back to his 2nd place starting position. And we'll go to the inside of Velocity. The help will be with the 84, but a nose ahead for Eldred here in the 1. Velocity lets him go. Modesty on Velocity. That would be for 9th, but Modesty has to make a save in the middle of the corner. Eldred to 8th, and he's on the move just a little bit now. But the man on the move is up front. For really the first time that I can remember in the short career of Ryan Patty, he is being caught. Christian Strader's picked up 2 to 3 tenths. Well, he had been picking up some time. He's now losing just a little bit of it again. But he's maintaining now with Ryan Patty, and this is one of the breakthrough moments I was waiting on. Last time by 3 tenths faster for Christian Strader than the leader, Ryan Patty. Now loses a lot of that time back, though, so it must have just been a mistake for Ryan Patty. He will put some more time back on the board. Meanwhile, back to the battle for 3rd. Harold Watkins has it, but he sees the Oakley Chevy of Matt Hayden closing in quickly. That will eventually be the battle for the 3rd position. They work down into turn number 1, lap 41 on the board. Actually means the stage white flag. That's my apologies. Get a little bit zoned out, watching some of the great battles on the speedway right now, and failed to mention that we were on the last lap of stage 1. This is a crucial stage point potentially for Andrew Little, but Matt Hayden runs him down the racetrack. These two will drag race. Matt Hayden's going to completely blink out, and that is not good for Matt Hayden. And at the last possible moment, he misses out not only on stage points, but he has completely disappeared. The stage caution comes out, and it's terrible luck for the Oakley Chevy of Matt Hayden. Ryan Patty wins the stage. As Hayden reappears, he will miss out on stage points because of that technical blip. Unfortunate for the driver of the 5, Matt Hayden. So Patty wins the stage. 5 drivers get stage points here. Patty, Strader, Watkins, Little, and Caswell unofficially will be the stage point recipients as we head forward into stage number 2. Stage 1 complete. The Grillo's Pickles Chevrolet Ryan Patty wins the first stage in the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway. What we're going to do now is we're going to hit our potentially one and only break of the night. Only the 1 caution in stage 1, so perhaps a long run coming at Darlington. So while we have an opportunity, we're going to hit a quick break. When we come back, it's stage 2 and the conclusion from Darlington Raceway. Stay with us. You won't want to miss a thing. We're going to go PGR nonstop so you can see all the action on pit road. We'll be right back for the restart from Darlington Raceway.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing. 3 by 3. Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it in the line? Cody Nagels wins it in Talladega.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, we got
The monkey is prime!
this season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time!
Oh, that's good.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
But you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. Stage 2 about to get underway. Cody Eldred and Garrett Caswell making aggressive pit calls to get to the front row. They will restart up front. Green flag from Darlington, 119 laps to go, but Eldred and Caswell, a little bit older tires, wanting to save a set, a little slow to the restart. Patty's going to try to pounce. This is where you could get the 30 of Ryan Patty, would be right here in traffic. Put him behind the 8 ball, behind some slower traffic, and make him make a green flag pass, which you really haven't seen that he's had to do so far in his career in this series. Watkins going to take the first dive on Patty out back from the 4th position. Can't do it, though, and Patty will have to settle into 3rd. Watkins into 4th, Schrader into 5th. As Caswell and Eldred continue to lead, Little out back. That's uncontrolled for 6th. As Ryan Patty trails the GTCR Motorsports entry of Garrett Caswell for 2nd. And eventually it will be Eldred for first. Big hit to the outside wall for Caswell, and he will go backwards in the 77. Patty gets alongside. How hard will Caswell race him? The answer, not very. Patty through to 2nd. Now Eldred is the man that he has to hold off. Patty has to lift just a little bit on the exit of turn number 4, and now Eldred leads some of his first laps of the night and of the season here in the Challenger Cup Series. Ahead of Ryan Patty, the man who led most of Stage 1, in fact, led all of Stage 1. And Caswell's going to turn Watkins into the outside wall. Schrader's in it as well in the 29. The caution's going to come out. And Harold Watkins, John Velocity going to get collected. They come back up. Steve Potter's in it. More drivers pile in. Oh, boy. Well, in racing, they tell you not to make enemies because it just doesn't benefit anybody. And unfortunately, well, hang on a minute. We're going to have to go back and watch this again because I'm going to have to double check what I thought I saw. You see Schrader get a piece of this. See Watkins off of Caswell into the outside wall. Man, Watkins has still got the foot to the floor. Now he's got the brakes locked up. He's got it back to the floor again. And Caswell's got it to the floor, too. This reminds me a little bit. It's a little bit ironic how that looks. And Velocity bounces off Strader first, then bounces off Watkins as he goes for a slide. It's kind of funny almost how much that reminds me of GT or Zuri actually is going to get in this as well. It's funny how much that reminds me of Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain a couple of years ago. If you'll remember, Ross Chastain ran Larson out of room in the exit of turn number 2, and they came together. And Larson did that same thing. He just kept the throttle to the floor and just kind of pushed the one about halfway down the backstretch, just like Caswell did with the Watkins machine. Let's go up top. I want to go back. I want to take a look here one more time and see if there was contact before Caswell got the outside wall. Watch Watkins here. Caswell's coming down. He's been running this line basically all night. And does Watkins run him out of room, or do they meet in the middle? Is it both? Well, there's a little bit of net code right there, but he's almost definitely going to run the 77 out of room there. And that's exactly what happens. Caswell bounces off the outside wall, nowhere to go for him, but into the right rear of the Ghost Chevrolet. I mean, literally no other option there except to drive right through the right rear of Harold Watkins. Then Velocity trying to miss it, just bounces off a couple different cars, plays bumper cars. That's going to actually force Strader into a hard hit on the inside wall. He actually gets quite a bit of damage from that. And there you see the hit from Irizarry to Bourbonnier. So this ends up being about a 5-car incident. Down here towards turn 3. Again, and I look, I don't like speculating on personal beefs on the racetrack. I don't like bringing that here because obviously you get on the racetrack and everything's a little bit different. But I think it's safe to say, and you know, there's definitely been there's been a degree of frustration with this obviously for the past several weeks. It didn't start last week in Daytona. It didn't start the week before in Richmond, obviously when we saw the Velocity and Caswell incident, but there has been a growing sense of frustration, I think, with the way that Garrett Caswell has raced his competition. And I think you're now seeing it start to translate into some of these races. And again, I don't like to speculate on this, but just from the high above view, we're actually going to go back green because we're missing the green flag, but Cody Eldred continues to lead. Actually got a really good start there as well, so he'll maintain the lead for now over Ryan Patty. I think it's only a matter of time before Patty gets back to the point in Darlington and begins to drive away. Look, there has been a growing sense of frustration with how the driver of the 77 has conducted himself around certain drivers in this series. There are drivers getting frustrated when you run against the same guys every night, every week of a season. There's going to be some guys you're just frustrated with. Some guys you race and they don't give you a lot of room and you don't like the way they race you, so then you start to race them differently. I don't like to speculate, but I'm afraid that's what happened there, is that Harold Watkins drove into turns 1 and 2 expecting to make some contact with the 77 and did again, and it resulted in a crash and multiple cars involved. And I think you're seeing now that frustration is bleeding into these races weeks after things happen. By the way, Matt Hayden has gone 6 laps down as a result of his connection issues. John Velocity's night is over on lap 50. He'll finish 16th. And that's not good for a driver already down around the cut line. GT Irizarry has gone 2 laps down with his involvement in that incident. Garrett Caswell is the first car 1 lap down. There's only 13 cars on the lead lap, but I think you're starting to see the frustration bleed over week after week now, and now it's caused a multi-car incident. Again, that's just to me. I have not talked to Harold Watkins. I have no idea if there was any premeditation behind that incident in the slightest. Genuinely, I have no idea. So I don't want to sit here and say that's for sure what happened. That's what it looked like to me. And now it's ended badly here for several cars, including multiple now whose nights are derailed. John Velocity's night is over. Christian Strader's logged back in the 9th position. Harold Watkins is logged back in the 7th position. Caswell's logged back 1 lap down in 14th. That situation did not end well for anybody. Meanwhile, big block out back. That's for 3rd. that's what I saw there. We'll move on. Racers move on. This race will continue. Man, almost a big moment there is crossover. Here comes Catrone to the inside of Andrew Little. This is a great battle here for third. We'll move on after this, but I think that's what it was, and it just did not end well for anybody there. Little on the outside, Catrone on the inside. This is a battle for position number 3. Everett coming forward with them. Modesty coming through as well. Watkins entering the fray, and so is Greg Bourbonier, plus 10 so far for the Midler Toyota. As he runs in 8. Strader, though, is knocking on his back bumper. And boy, a bit of a slip there off 4 for Little and Catrone. That will allow Everett to go through, and Modesty. Here come Watkins. Here comes Bourbonier. And then Strader in behind them. The train is coming through on Andrew Little and James Catrone as Everett is up to 3rd. Up front, the battle for the lead continues. Eldred has it. Patty wants it, trying to find clean air. For the Grillo's Chevrolet, he'll drive potentially alongside Eldred here. Can he get all the way to his left rear? He can. They will drag race down the front straightaway at the line. Eldred by half a car length. Does he let Patty have it here in turn 1? He does. Move Ryan Patty back to position number 1. Let's go back here to the battle that continues to rage for the 3rd spot on back. Patty pulls away with the lead, just over 100 laps to go, or about 22 laps short of halfway. Catrone and Watkins about to battle for 5th. Greg Bourbonier is 7th. Really nice run so far for the Miller Toyota, back into position number 7. And a run that he could really use leaving Daytona. He was 13th in points, solidly in the playoffs. He was, as they run, about 97 points above the cut line, and really I think it's about 100 points. I'm not sure at this point that Ryan Patty's going to run enough races to be eligible for the postseason when we get there. I believe the league decided on a 66% race participation, and Ryan Patty just does not have enough races to get to that number. So I believe it's a 100-point gap, but he really could use the run just to kind of position himself and maybe gain a couple spots. Nick Seipel right in front of him, not in the field tonight. He was only 9 points back of the 75. He was 11 points back of both Cody Eldred, who currently runs 2nd, and Stephen Luttrell, who currently runs back in 11th. He's chasing Catrone as well, and that's all the way up to 9th in points. So this could be a really nice night here for Bourbonier to not only distance himself from guys behind him, but also try to position himself to maybe get up inside the top 10 in points by the time we wrap up the regular season in Kansas. So good run so far for the driver of the 00. Eldred and Everett about to battle for the 2nd spot behind Ryan Patty. Everett gets to his back bumper here off turn number 4. Rusty Modesty's closing on this as well. Catrone and Watkins watch on from 5th and 6th. Modesty closes in on the battle. 100 laps to go in Darlington as the battle for 2nd now encompasses 3 cars. By the way, Watkins got by Catrone for 5th. He'll close in on this battle also. So about to be a 4-car battle for the spot. Strader's log still back in the 9th position. Just cannot get around the Andrew Little machine for the 7th spot. Oh, man, Everett with a slide. Modesty gets into him. They come together. And Modesty almost able to stay alongside the left for a quarter panel, but had to lift just a little bit and have to regroup on Everett as Eldred pulls away just a tad in the 2nd spot. Inside of 100 laps to go, almost to the halfway point, about 14 to 15 laps from that point to be exact. And Modesty's got company. That's for 4th in the form of Harold Watkins. Little and Catrone looking into this battle as well. Fastest car on the racetrack continues to be Ryan Patty. Eldred was 2nd quick last time. It may change right here. A couple fast cars out back on long run speed. Starting to try to enter the fray, but everybody running about the same lap times from 2nd to the back half of the top 10. So we continue to keep it here. Track has cooled off just a little bit since the opening. It is 74 degrees with an 83-degree track temp. It was up in the 90s and hundreds earlier in practice and qualifying. It's come down since the beginning of the race. As the lights have come on, the sun has gone down, and we undergo some of the track changes that NASCAR sees in its races as well. We continue to watch Modesty and Watkins. May have to go up here in a second to the battle for 2nd as Everett closes back in on Cody Eldred. Let's go there for a moment here off turn 4. There's the pass. It caught me by surprise, too. As Everett goes by for 2nd. Modesty under fire from Watkins still for 4th as Everett will try to be the next man to chase down Ryan Patty. I'm not sure he'll be able to have a ton of success. We'll see what he's got on a long run for the driver of the 30, though. Last time Everett was just slightly faster, so maybe he's got something here. We'll wait and see on the verdict. Andrew Little was the fastest car on the racetrack by a 10th. He is 3.5 seconds behind the leader. Everett slides off turn 4, so he'll lose some time there. Christian Strader's just never really been able to get the pace back that he had before. The incident there on the back straightaway just has not been able to replicate that pace since. Field works back down towards turn 1. 92 laps to go. They're ticking off quick before we get to our pit stops, and then on from there. These guys have spread out, as is Challenger Cup Series fashion, and leads to a lot of green flag racing. Watkins finally got by Modesty. That is for the 4th spot. Now continues to close the gap on Cody Eldred for the 3rd spot as Andrew Little's picked up some pace here in that Waterford Concepts Camaro in the 6th position. He continues to run competitive lap times with the guys in front of him and with the leaders. Travis Everett, by the way, is trying to stay on pace with Ryan Patty. It's just not happening. Watkins a lean to the inside. Eldred gets the wall, and here comes the Ghost Chevy for 3rd. Watkins makes the pass. Modesty trying to come forward as well. And he wants the 4th spot. Little is closing. So is Christian Strader, who's finally got some speed back under the hood of that 29. Battle is for 4th. Eldred and Modesty. And the caution's out. Caution flag number, oh boy. So Garrett Caswell's gone for a spin. Caution number 4 on the night. So Caswell will get it rolling. He goes a second lap down, though. And his night goes from bad to worse. Oh, he blinked right here. Bad. We're not going to be able to see a whole lot, so probably only one replay here because he slides off the wall, but he blinks. So a self-spin for Caswell. We'll take one more look at it here. He was already one lap down behind the field and having a bad night as it was. And unfortunately, the bad night's going to go from bad to worse. The GTCR Motorsports Chevrolet of Garrett Caswell. See, he starts to slide. He gets the wall and then can't wrap that thing back around. Goes for a self-spin and brings out the caution on lap 78. Everybody's on pit road this time. It's a busy place here under the 4th caution of the night, right about the halfway mark. As Ryan Patty will drag the field down pit road. And we'll see who wins the race off of the pit lane. Everybody going for tires here. Patty off first, Everett off second. And it's Watkins, Eldred, Modesty, Strader, Catrone, Bourbonier, and Luttrell. The order off pit lane. Some other cars out back. Andrew Little, Steve Potter, Harold Rothery, Brandon Beauchamp, GT Erzeri, Garrett Caswell on pit lane as well. Matt Hayden gets a lap back there. He's back to 5 laps down. So the 5 car is still theoretically in, and he's going to need some serious help after the connection issues earlier to get back into this race. But technically not out of it. So he continues to work and try to get back in this race. We'll get this one race started on lap 81. Ryan Patty has re-inherited the race lead over Travis Everett, Harold Watkins, Cody Eldred, and Rusty Modesty. Then it's Christian Strader in the 6th spot, and Catrone and Bourbonier on row 4. Stephen Luttrell, Steve Potter round out the top 10. Field working just short of halfway. We're actually about 2 laps short of that mark. As field works off turn 4, we'll get the green on lap 81. It'll be 85 laps to go. And green flag back in the air. And I'll tell you this, Ryan Patty's must have gone to school in the Harold Watkins School of Race Starts, because he just got another rocket fast one right there. Everett and Watkins will be left to battle for second, but it is the Grillos Pickles Chevy that is flying away from the field here on the exit of turn number 2. He will try to drive away. Everett trying to defend second from Watkins. He will do so for now. Watkins peeking underneath, trying to get the second spot. Eldred watching on from 4th, but he may be under attack here momentarily from the man who's back up front in the top 5 for the first time since the crash earlier in stage number 2, and that is Christian Strader. He's back up to 5th, his highest running spot in a little bit for the 29. As he gets the back bumper of Eldred, he's going to try to get them all here and go back up and again try to chase down Ryan Patty. A familiar position for the 29 of Christian Strader as we work on lap number 82. Coming to lap 83, officially halfway home at the Darlington Raceway. 83 to go. 83 on the board. And it continues to be Ryan Patty that leads here at the Lady in Black. As out back, it's a Hornet's Nest. From second back to about the 7th position or under a blanket here. Everett chasing Patty, but he's being chased by Watkins, who's being chased by Eldred, who's being chased by Strader, who's being chased by Modesty, who's being chased by Catrone. Strader got by Modesty, or excuse me, no, he already had that spot. He was 5th. He tries to work on Cody Eldred now as Watkins works on Everett for the 2nd spot. Everett's not going away here, folks. He's trying everything he can to hang with Ryan Patty here. He's brought it back down to 2.5 tenths. I wonder if he's just trying to mirror his line and run it a little better, but he loses some time there on entry of turn 3, and Ryan Patty drives away just a tad. No movement from 2nd to 7th. About to be, though. Here comes Catrone underneath Modesty. That's for 6th. He'll get it, throw the slider. He's up to position number 6. Watkins peeking again on Everett. That's for 2nd. Continues to be Ryan Patty. That leads the way. Catrone bounces off the outside. Well, a couple cars got it right there on the exit of turn number 2. The battle will be for 2nd. Watkins is there, and he is hounding the driver of that car. Meanwhile, behind them, Strader gets 4th from Eldred there in turn 3. Here's the battle for 2nd. Watkins peaked, but gets back in line. Down the Boeing backstretch, into 3. Everett continuing to hold off Watkins for now. Watkins being very patient. Still a long way to go. 77 laps at the line, so no reason to be super out of pocket yet in this stage of the race, but he continues to be very patient. But Strader is slowly starting to reel these guys in. You would think Watkins would want the spot sooner than later, seeing that 29 start to get bigger in the rearview mirror. Strader, fastest car on track last time around the speedway in the 4th spot. He is starting to reel in these guys for 3rd and 2nd. And reeling in a bit of time on the leader as well. As lap 90 hits the board. 76 laps to go. One of the longer races in terms of distance of the season tonight in Darlington, being one of the crown jewels in NASCAR. Obviously a little bit longer race tonight for us as well. Not a ton of battles on the speedway right now. I will say, we'll do a quick programming update as Strader catches these guys. Before they do, I want to give you the schedule here going forward. We are in action the next 4 weeks of the season. In fact, there's not another off week this season for a holiday break. So we'll be racing every Tuesday from here until November the 11th. Here is the upcoming schedule. Of course, tonight we're at Darlington. Next week we're at Worldwide Technology Raceway a.k.a. Gateway, for 120 laps. The week after that, it's the last great Coliseum in Bristol. As NASCAR ends the first round of the playoffs, we'll come to the to Thunder Valley for a stop in the regular season. That will be race number 12. Then it's New Hampshire, a trip to Loudon after that. And then Kansas on September the 30th will wrap the regular season and set our 16-driver playoff field. Then there are 5 playoff races in the season. Then there is, of course, the one added-on championship for what I'm calling basically the Grand Championship of Challenger Cup Series for 2025. So in order, those 6 races are the round of 16, being Charlotte, Roval, and Las Vegas. Round of 8 being Talladega and Martinsville. The championship 4, of course, at Phoenix. Then the Grand Championship being at the old Atlanta, 2008 version of Atlanta. We'll see who is the best of the best in all of Challenger Cup Series racing for 2025 in that race. And I'm excited for that one. That's a driver's track. It's a tire eater. I cannot wait. That's going to be a lot of fun later on in the season. But a lot of unique dates coming up. Of course, Gateway, Bristol, New Hampshire, all interesting ovals like I talked about. Kansas, the cookie cutter, high-speed mile-and-a-half. The playoffs are about as wild as you can possibly get. Charlotte, Roval, Las Vegas. Then round of 8 is Talladega and Martinsville. Who knows what's going to happen in those 2 races? And then, of course, Phoenix to end out the season before we head to old Atlanta. So a lot coming up here in the Challenger Cup Series that you'll want to be a part of over the next, counting tonight, 12 weeks. Excuse me, counting tonight, 11 weeks. 10 weeks from now, we crown our Challenger Cup Series Grand Champion. "69 laps to go at the line. Travis Everett is starting to run down Ryan Patty just a tad here on the long run and brings Watkins and Schrader in tow with him as the field continues to try to find an answer for this guy. No one's been able to have an answer for Ryan Patty yet at this point in the season in his Challenger Cup Series career, and Everett trying to be the guy that finds the answer tonight at Darlington and pick up his first win of this second season in 2025. Bigger fuel load tonight for these guys, by the way, 70% in the gas tank, so a lot longer run. That's why they haven't come to pit road on this second run of the race. So it'll be a little bit longer before we see them come to pit road. The fuel range will be a little bit longer. We may be in a position to go on one more stop. I believe it still will be 2 from now to the end of the race. Everett driving away now from Watkins, trying to distance himself and put all of his focus forward because he's running some really good lap times right now, is Travis Everett. 600s faster than the leader last time by. No one else even in the same realm other than Andrew Little, who runs back in 8th. Time starts to fade again, though, as Patty will put triple digits up on the board this time by. 66 laps remain from Darlington. Patty starts to pull away one more time. Schrader is really reeling these guys in for second and third now, as he'll try to get back the spots that he lost. Everett's loose on entry, bad, right in front of Harold Watkins. He's still trying to save the car, and for the second time tonight, Travis Everett's having to make a save on the banking of turns 1 and 2. It bites him again. He loses a lot of track position. He'll go all the way back to 6th. After another big moment, he actually may lose 6th as well to Rusty Modesty, but Modesty gets the wall. But he'll try to go by him as well, and that's a tough break. But the driver of the 13, as he loses a ton of track position there. Watkins now moves into the 2nd position. Schrader into the 3rd spot. Eldred 4th, Catrone 5th. Then Everett on the backslide trying to rebound from that mistake. And get back into this one. Little update for you on the guys further back. GT Oziri is now the first car 1 lap down, as he is actually the only car 1 lap down, as he runs in 14th. Garrett Caswell is 2 laps down in 15th. Matt Hayden in the 16th spot has been on pit road for an extended period of time, as he has gone back to, I believe, 6 laps down. "62 laps to go." And again, really no great battles on the speedway right now. Everybody kind of separated running their race. Watkins actually did the same thing Everett was doing and started to drag that gap back. It was down to 1.4. Now it starts to go up one more time. Watkins trying to be the guy that chases down Patty. He's a 2.5 back with 61 to go. Don't think they're going to be able to make it on one stop. It's going to be close, but I don't think they are. It'll be 2 stops. It'll be 2 stops counting this next one. So it'll be this one, and then one more, and I think we'll be on to the end from there. It'll be close. Depends on when these guys pit. If it takes them until about lap 120 or so, remember we went green, I want to say right around the halfway mark. If they get to about lap 122 or 123, we are looking at potentially this being the only green flag stop of the race, if this thing continues on the pace it's going. Patty going to encounter lap traffic for the first time, so he'll catch Steve Potter and catches him in a bad spot. Potter was trying to go low, Patty was trying to go low, and it costs Ryan Patty 0.6 of a second. Luckily, it didn't cost him more than that. He'll put Potter 1 lap down. GT Oziri didn't want to see that. And he's catching another car. Harold Rothery's not far from going a lap down either. Obviously, if this thing continues green, it's not going to matter for GT Oziri. He's still 1 lap down. Without a caution, he's going to be stuck there, but so Patty trying to run away. 57 laps to go in the closing stages at Darlington. We await at least 1 green flag pit stop. That is yet to come in the closing stages of this race. We have seen it here before. Pit stops can determine a lot. Ryan Patty hoping that doesn't happen to him tonight. Harold Watkins, Christian Strader are trying to figure out how to make that happen tonight, whether that's shortcutting or running long or what have you. They're trying to figure out, how do we beat this guy? Because save for one super speedway, Ryan Patty has been all but untouchable in his early Challenger Cup Series career. 55 to go for him as he pulls away now from the field behind him. We'll go back here for a moment. Travis Everett is on the rebound from that slide in turn 1 a moment ago. He's on the move here trying to get 5th from James Catrone. Stephen Luttrell, Greg Bourbonier still having good runs. Same for Brandon Beauchamp. Everett going to try to get this spot, make it quick, and try to move on to Eldred, get these spots back that he lost. try it here in 3? No. Gonna back off. Now he'll try here off of 4, but slides just a little bit. He'll still drive alongside Catrone. Noses ahead here into turn 1, but Catrone doesn't give it to him. Everett's going to have to take it. Drives alongside, trying to drive hard off the corner. Andrew Little's into this. Does he look 3 wide here? Everett going for defense. Little's going for both of them. He gets Catrone. So does Everett. Now Little's going to get Everett in 3 and 4. Trying to slide up. Can't do it. Everett trying to play defense as Andrew Little tries to take advantage of the side-by-side battle between Catrone and Travis Everett. By the way, Irizarry's gone by Steve Potter. That's for the lucky dog spot. Little sliding up. Everett trying not to give it to him. Little trying to drive hard off the corner. Great battle between these two drivers here off 2. Little slides, gets the wall. Everett back around alongside him. Catrone going to try there as well. Everett to the inside of turn 3. Little's not going to let him have it. Side by side, they drag race through the 3 and 4 area. Off turn number 4. Battle for second about to begin, by the way, up front. Slides by both. Everett and Little still can't get away from each other. They are still side by side. Into turn 1, Little's going to get the spot. Everett's going to let him have it. And for now, Andrew Little, the move of the race so far, to go from 7th to 5th on lap 115. Up front, the battle for second. Watkins has it. Strader wants it as they catch the lap car of Garrett Caswell, who's gone a 3rd lap down. Clear is the race's Mustang Dark Horse. Christian Strader moved back to position number 2. Watkins firing back here into 1. Can't get it. Strader drives away but catches Caswell at a bad spot. Gets to the outside of the 77. Drives it off turn number 2. Watkins will catch him right at the exit. And Caswell, maybe a tad bit of payback there. Blocks the 3 of Watkins off the exit. And Watkins loses some time. And now you would anticipate here that Caswell, he may not get away unscathed. And he's going to put that car on the wall and let Harold Watkins go. Might have learned his lesson a little bit from Richmond, where he did not let the 84 of John Velasquez go. Not saying you're not supposed to race a guy, but certainly there, Caswell looking to avoid future trouble. By the way, still on probation. Not sure what's going on here for Garrett Caswell. He's in the wall again there off turn number 2. But Garrett Caswell, reminder, is on probation, so not wanting to get involved in any extracurriculars there and potentially risk his spot in the postseason. Travis Everett has made a pit stop on lap number 118. He is the first driver to come to pit road on what could be the last cycle, but I think may be the second to last cycle of green flag pit stops, and now we start to await the leaders. Patty drives away by 3 seconds. Modesty's on pit road. I believe Rothery's come to pit road. So a lot of cars coming to pit road for their service here. We await Ryan Patty, Christian Strader, and the rest of the field to come down. Everett pit really early. I'm not sure if it was early enough for this run. We'll see. Modesty comes off pit road. We've seen Christian Strader in the past do some crazy pit strategies to try to win races. Harold Watkins, same thing. Let's see if either one of those two wants to kick off this run of green flag pit stops. Strader bypasses. Watkins bypasses. Eldred bypasses. Little, Catrone, Luttrell. Looks like everybody's bypassing pit road for now to stay on the track. But look at the difference here. Watch Modesty drive away from Patty on new tires. Guys start to take their last set. Look at how far Modesty's driving away. Strader's starting to catch Ryan Patty here. We're in the window now, potentially, to make it to that final run. And this potentially could be a one-stop for everybody not named. Everett, Modesty, Irizarry, Rothery, or not Irizarry, excuse me, but Rothery. Everybody not named one of them could probably make this on one run. Patty bypasses again. Strader bypasses again. Watkins, same story. Eldred, Little. Nobody else coming to pit road quite yet. 43 laps to go in Darlington. Watkins coming off the racetrack. First guy to pit from the leaders here on this potential last stop of the race. It's the money stop potentially for the Ghost Chevrolet of Harold Watkins. He's the first to come down of these lead cars on this cycle. He'll cede the third position and come to pit road. And now we await the leaders. Patty says, I've seen enough. I'm coming to pit road. Strader, a late lunge for the Reese's Mustang. He'll try to get everything he can on entry to catch up with Ryan Patty as we now await Harold Watkins to come off of pit road. Eldred goes another lap. So too does Little. So too, I believe, does Catrone and Luttrell. Bourbonier would be next. He's going to go another one. Beauchamp is on the apron, and he's looking to come to pit road, I think, this time by. Nope. He will continue to run. But the leaders are on pit road, and Watkins is off pit road. Now comes the fun part. Did the one-lap undercut do anything for Harold Watkins? Eldred's off the racetrack. He's coming to pit road. And now we wait for Patty to come off the jack. Both he and Strader are up on the jack. Watkins is off turn 4. It's going to be close. Patty's off pit road. Here comes Harold Watkins. Oh, man, Patty is up on the grass trying to pedal this thing and stay in front of the Ghost Chevrolet, and he will, but it will not be by much. Watkins will be in the rear view by the time they get here to turn 3. Patty's got to get it wound up. He will, and he'll maintain the lead for now. But Watkins is there and definitely in contention with 39 to go. Meanwhile, guys coming off pit road, Little, Catrone, Luttrell have not made their pit stops. I don't think Bourbonier, Beauchamp, or Irizarry have made theirs either. Perhaps Harold Rothery as well. And lap traffic now to deal with. Well, the leader's actually on track, but traffic could play a factor in how this race ends. Catrone, oh man, that was close with Ryan Patty. Watkins trying to follow all the way through. Patty gets the outside wall as Watkins drag races a car down the front stretch into one. Patty gets all the way through the traffic A-OK. Watkins does as well and is within 7/10. 38 laps to go, coming back to 37. Watkins going to try everything in his power here to make up the time. I just don't think it's going to be enough. It was a monster pit stop for Ryan Patty on and off pit road. I just don't think it's going to be enough for Harold Watkins, but I give him the credit for being willing to try the undercut. He's within a second still. He's trying to keep it close, but it was only 37 to go. He's going to have to run really, really good lap times. He runs a good one right there, though. Gained a little bit of it back. He's chipping away. And this race may not be over just yet. Coming back to 35 to go. It'll be lap 131 at the line. Watkins is only 9/10 away, but now the gap grows in turn 3. Little and Luttrell, the last two on pit road that needed to come to pit road, will do so here. Patty will re-inherit the lead, and now it is down to Patty, Watkins, and Strader for the win at the Lady in Black. By the way, Travis Everett recovers from that slide earlier up to the 4th position. Great run. Great recovery, rather, for the Travis Everett machine. A second separate the two leaders. As they work down the front straightaway, 34 laps to go at Darlington. It is just 1 second. It hasn't really changed, but now it starts to grow just a little. The gap up to 1.2. Strader has kept his gap to the leader pretty constant, but hasn't really gained anything either, as only 33 laps remain. Now, lap traffic could be interesting. We saw what lap traffic could do earlier, both to Harold Watkins and to Ryan Patty. So, going to be interesting here to see how guys race the leader, what that could do to affect this race, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Ryan Patty continues to lead next time by 30 laps to go. The gap's grown to 1.4 seconds. Strader's actually cut his just the slightest, but has yet to make a big dent in reducing the lead, but he is catching Harold Watkins little by little for second. Everett not gaining anything on those guys for third, so top three appear to be pretty well locked in. Barring a caution flag late in the going. 30 laps to go at Darlington as Ryan Patty continues to lead. Well, Matt Aiden, he had worked hard to get back to 5 laps to go, but he's about to go another lap down. As Ryan Patty closes on him, then it would be Harold Rothery after that to go 2 laps down. He did pit later than the leader, though, so maybe Rothery can run away just a little. Get himself out front. Strader's cut 3/10 off the gap in third. I just don't think he has the laps to go to get all the way back to the leader. He might get to second place Harold Watkins, though, before this one comes to a close. Watkins has closed it back from 1.45 down to about 1.3. He's got a lap car between himself and the leader, though. That's Matt Aiden, who just went a 6th lap down. But he is starting to close that gap just a little bit. Hayden just let him go. So now it's clean racetrack, but not for long. They've got Modesty in front of them. They've got Rothery, and they've got Steve Potter. Lap traffic is going to come into play. Strader's cut another 2/10 off, by the way. He's not out of this thing either. And both those cars are starting to gain a little bit of time on your race leader here with just 27 to go. The impenetrable Ryan Patty gonna have to maybe play some defense here for his 3rd win of the season. Strader's really running good laps right now in 3rd. Potter's going to move out of the way pretty easily here for Ryan Patty. So no harm, no foul there, as Potter will stay down, try to let Watkins go as well. And then from there, it will be Strader. Next up on the chopping block with 2 harder cars to pass in terms of raw pace they've had tonight. Modesty especially, but Rothery as well. Rothery on newer tires. Modesty's been a fast car all night. Rothery will move out of the way. He'll go to the inside here of the front stretch. Strader has run down Harold Watkins with 25 to go. And if he can make this pass quick, I think he's been the best car on the track for about the last 25 laps. Christian Strader, he did get a Darlington stripe right there. He'll try to recover from it. But he is there on Harold Watkins. And if he can make this pass quick, this one's going to get really interesting. Through turns 3 and 4. Patty, next car to pass is Rusty Modesty. This one's going to be tough depending on how Modesty races him here. With 24 to go, will he choose to get out of the way or will he try to race him a little harder because he's a lead lap car? And Modesty will, in the same way the others did, move out of the way. So, no controversy there. Let's take a look back at this battle for the second spot because Strader is trying to make quick work here of Harold Watkins. And if he can make this pass, he's going to at least have a shot, but he's got to make this pass quick. The problem is the dirty air. He's taken too long to try to make this pass. Patty leads by 1.9 seconds. 22 laps to go. Strader's lost some time now to Watkins in interaction with the wall. But now Watkins starts to try to catch Patty just a little bit. And perhaps maybe a battle brewing there. He's got a little bit of time here if he chips away at it. He was almost 2 tenths faster last time. Fastest car on the track was actually Everett, but he is a ways back from these cars. Let's check the lap times this time by Harold Watkins. Appears to be a little bit faster that time as well. Not nearly as much, though. Just a 0.07 second difference. This time he gains some more. A tenth in 1 and 2. If he gains 2 tenths a lap, he'll be there in 9 laps. And with 10 laps to go, we'll have a battle for the win. But he's been a little bit worse down here in turns 3 and 4. Than Patty has. He changed up his exit right there, though, and gained just a little bit. And he's 2 tenths quicker than the leader. He's changed up the way he's running these corners. He's really focused on that exit speed. And it's made him gain a little bit more time. The gap is 1.6. It's a second and a half in turn 3. Patty's on the apron in turns 3 and 4. I'm not sure what the strategy is there, but he's down below the dash lines, and Watkins is gaining time and gaining it in a hurry. Those second and third place cars are closing. 1.2. There is a lap car between them. But if it's any indication earlier, you'd imagine that Modesty is that lap car will move out of the way of the race leader, or race leaders, the second and third place guys when they get there. Patty went back to his line in turns 3 and 4 and gained a lot more time that time. Perhaps it was a tire saving method. He's gone back to the wall and now pulls away just a little. Modesty hard in the outside wall. He'll move out of the way here on the exit of turn number 2. I think Strader's the better of those two cars, personally. Yeah, Patty's gone back to his line, and that time he ran a really good lap. I think Strader's the better of these two cars back here. But by the time he's able to get around Watkins, I just don't think there's going to be enough time for him to get to Ryan Patty if he is the better of those two cars. These guys continue to battle, but they lose time. 16 laps to go. And these guys are now losing time. I think Patty was just toying with his food a little bit, saving some tire. And now he's driving away. I still think Strader could make a race of it if he can get past, but he's running out of laps, and he's still stuck behind Harold Watkins. He just cannot make this pass. So with only 15 laps to go, he continues to lose time. I just don't think he's going to have enough laps to get back in this one. We'll see. And he makes the pass. Oh, geez, I was looking at lap times, and I got so focused on lap times, I looked up at the timing and scoring, looked back down at the screen, and Schrader had made the pass. You wonder if Watkins maybe let him go there, because now Schrader, he's got some time. Let's see if he can run him down. It's going to be really interesting here. He's 2 seconds back with 13 laps to go. The rate he's going, he's going to need to gain about... I mean, man, 0.2 a lap? And that's to get there with 3 to go. He needs to gain a little bit more than that. He's just not right now. Last time by, he was half a second faster. He's not going to be this time around, I don't think. Yeah, he's just not gaining the time. Yeah, Patty just... He ran a 30.32, and now he just ran a 29.79. And it may very well be all she wrote. In the next few laps, he's going to put this one basically out of reach, barring a massive mistake. These guys continue to get the wall. They're dropping time, and Ryan Patty has set sail. Only 8 cars on the lead lap. Luttrell, the last of them. I don't think Patty will get to him before this one ends. It'll be close. Well, it didn't come without a little bit of nerves for Ryan Patty, and still a long way to go in this one, obviously, but certainly seems to be headed on the way to another victory in this series, and this one probably the most nerve-wracking, continuing as the field continues to try to ramp up their own pace, catch up with Ryan Patty, and you know Christian Schrader, Harold Watkins, Travis Everett even. These guys are capable. It's just going to take them a few weeks to get used to the pace that Ryan Patty was running and what they would have to do. But these guys adapt. But it's very clear they have yet to adapt enough. 8 laps to go. The gap is the same and growing. Back to Christian Schrader in second. Oh, but Patty gets the wall right there. He's not immune to mistakes. He missed his entry to turn 1. Gets the outside wall, grabs himself a Darlington stripe to take on home with him. Brandon Beauchamp goes 2 laps down in the 11th spot with 7 laps to go. Schrader has lost 2 more tenths. Watkins lost more than that. He's back to over 4 seconds back. Don't think he's at range of being caught by Everett. That's a big ask. 7 seconds behind him, but certainly settled in likely to a 3rd place finish. 6 laps to go, and now it's putting the icing on the cake for what will be one of the most dominant starts to a league career that I have ever seen, if he can make the next 5 laps clean. Looking to pick up win number 3 in 4 starts, and really all 3 have been basically led wire to wire. Tonight, Cody Eldred led some laps earlier, but for the most part, it's been pretty uncontested. Whoa, big interaction with the wall there. Lose a little bit of time, so got to just clean it up and hit your marks here. He's only got 3 laps to go. At the line, he's going to run that tire save line again. He'll lose some time doing that, but he saves a little bit of tires. He may cool off the tires, I think, is what he's actually doing. I'm going to ask him about that in his interview here in just a moment if he can finish this one off. I want to know. I've never seen anybody change their line that drastically at Darlington. So, definitely going to be asking Ryan Patty about that in his post-race interview. Watkins, by the way, has fallen off a cliff. He's almost 6 seconds back of the leader. He's not going to get caught by Everett, as it will be popsicle sticks out the flag stand. 2 laps to go for Ryan Patty. If he gets back around to the line, it'll be the white flag. This race will be official. He will try to ride off into the sunset with yet another Challenger Cup Series victory. It comes off turn 4. They will get all the way back to the start-finish line. White flag is up. 1 lap to go at the Darlington Raceway for Ryan Patty. Certainly in doubt, more so tonight than it has been in his start to his Challenger Cup Series career. But not in doubt at the end when it mattered. Executed his pit stop, came off pit road, held off a late charge from a pair of the series best. And he's going to take another trip to victory lane, this time conquering the track too tough to tame. Ryan Patty wins again, this time in Darlington. Ryan Patty gets another victory to his campaign in the Challenger Cup Series, picking up the win in the Darlington race in race number 10. He'll get another checkered flag. A little bump there from Harold Watkins. And he will come around, and as is customary in the Challenger Cup Series, we'll give him an opportunity to celebrate the win. Ryan Patty, winner again, this time at the Lady in Black. Go now into your finishing results from Darlington Raceway. It's another dominant win tonight for Ryan Patty as he gets the checkered flag in Darlington in race 10 of the Challenger Cup Series season. Christian Strader, that's what the doctor ordered for the driver of the 29. He still come home second. It felt like the finishes just had not been there, mostly by virtue of bad luck, but Strader gets a complete race tonight. He'll go from second. That's what the points leader definitely wanted, headed forward from here. Harold Watkins goes third, so the points lead goes the way of Strader tonight in the 29. Andrew Little will be fourth. Travis Everett recovers to finish in fifth. Really great all-around run for Cody Eldred. Started sixth, had a mishap early, drove back up, led some laps, comes home in sixth. James Catrone in seventh, Stephen Luttrell in eighth, and Greg Bourbonier in ninth. Runs that they needed in those positions. GT Irizarry fights to a 10th place finish. 11th is Brandon Beauchamp, 12th is Harold Rothery, 13th Rusty Modesty, 14th Steve Potter, 15th Matt Hayden. The technical glitch unfortunately ended up being fatal for the hopes of the 5 car. He goes 15th. Garrett Caswell finishes tonight in 16th. John Velocity in 17th. And Jimmy Fitzmaurice in 18th. Move now to post-race coverage, post-race interviews here from the Darlington Raceway. Let's make sure the audio is good so that you can hear what the drivers have to say after their efforts tonight in Darlington. We'll start first with the man on the third step of the podium. I talked about earlier in the season, I felt like Harold Watkins had kind of reverted back to where we expected him to be. The pace that we had known him to have, and he just, for whatever reason, got a sluggish start to the season. And a few weeks ago, it felt like he really kicked it back in gear. He won at Iowa, and ever since then, he's been back in what I call championship form. Another podium finish for him tonight, and he will leave just short of the points lead. He goes third tonight in Darlington. Let's talk to him about the effort here at the Lady in Black. Harold, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I got you.
Well, hey, exactly what the doctor ordered for you tonight. Third place finish, got some stage points. There was some trouble in there, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But just want to get your quick thoughts from Darlington. A third place finish, I would say, rather uneventful night in the second half of the race for you. Take me through it en route to a third place finish.
Yeah, it's just harder than heck to pass, man. And you just burn your stuff up trying to get a run. And it's, I mean, after that wreck, I just felt like I was behind the 8 ball the whole time. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't really move to get up and even challenge Ryan. I had to take 2 tires at the end just to even give myself a chance. And I mean, it kept me in third, but it sucked. It just sucked.
Well, yeah, let's kind of talk about that for a moment. I heard you mention it put you behind the 8 ball. I do want to ask about it. There was some more trouble. Obviously, we've heard about some of the frustrations going on. What was your perspective of the crash that got several cars involved earlier in the race, and like you said, kind of put you behind the 8 ball? What did you see out the cockpit of the 3 car on that one?
Dawson, let me just be brutally honest with you here. The dude's a hack. He has no racecraft. He slams the wall the lap before and then decides he's going to send it into 1 and race me like that. Like, he's just a freaking hack, man. There's nothing else to it. He has 0 awareness. He's going to race you hard every lap, whether it benefits him or not. I mean, he just blows his stuff off. You see he can't even finish a race. I don't know the last time he finished a race on the lead lap. It's frustrating. It's getting really old.
Well, still recovery for you tonight, a third-place finish, and obviously going to leave about 1 point short of the points lead here with you and Christian finishing 2 and 3. So we head forward now for races to go in the regular season. Third-place finish for you in Darlington. On the way out, any thank yous or shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, shout-out to you up in the booth. Looking forward to watching this back and seeing what I could have done differently for next time. And thanks to everyone in the league that makes this thing go. It's a really great league, and thank you to everyone out there watching and all the people in the league. For the most part, it's a very good league, and can't be too upset about a podium, but hopefully we'll scale the mountaintop here soon.
Well, 4 races to go in the regular season. You are back up to second in points, and now a third-place finish on the resume tonight in Darlington. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you next week in Gateway.
Thanks, Dawson. Appreciate it.
Harold Watkins in the third-place finisher tonight from Darlington. Let's move to the man who finished in second. I had talked about the luck for the guy who at one point had a massive points lead. It has shrunk now to what was a tie. He will leave with the points lead here from Darlington headed forward into Gateway. But certainly back on track, I would say, in terms of the finishes for what we saw at the beginning of the year for Christian Strader. We'll get his perspective of the race. We'll also get his perspective headed forward to see if maybe he's got that mojo back headed in to what could be a championship run. For the driver of the 29, it's Christian Strader. Christian, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, Dawson?
Well, not too much. Look, a second-place finish. I talked about it a little bit earlier. The speed had never really gone away, but I felt like the luck part of it had, in terms of your finishes getting caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, having some issue, whether it's a crash, a connection issue, a technical issue, whatever the case may be, just derail your nights the past few races. We saw the tear to open the season. You get back into form tonight, a second-place finish at Darlington. Take me through it.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely an interesting race. Kind of once you get out front, you want to stay out front, and Darlington, it kind of really matters to kind of keep that track position, not get behind cars. But the wreck there put me behind the 8 ball. So like once you get into that, you got to kind of really focus in on not abusing the tires, trying to make passes, really working on guys and setting them up. Just because if you really use up the tires, I mean, on the long run, it really hurts you. You give up some time to hopefully make it back later. But good finish. I felt like that was a solid finish and solid run, and I'm glad to kind of be running back where I was. But hopefully we can get back in victory lane. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun when you're winning them.
Well, still, obviously, one of the most winningest drivers in the series this season, and now we kind of start to head forward. I talked about it a moment ago. It felt like you had your mojo back. Do you feel the same way? 4 races short of the playoffs. I talked about the start that you had of the season. Do you feel like you're getting back to that here right before we head into when the racing matters just a little bit more?
Yeah, I definitely do. I didn't really feel like I never got into the stretch where I felt like it was really gone. Like the speed was there, things like that. So you just kind of got to look at it. You got to say, hey, there's going to be some times where you have some bad luck, but as long as you're kind of running well before then and then still putting together good laps afterwards, it kind of makes you just feel like you didn't really fall out of it. So it was kind of nice to actually get the finish put together tonight. But kind of want to keep that speed and momentum rolling. That's typically fixes everything if you go fast.
Pretty fast tonight. Second place finish for you tonight in Darlington, back into form. He'll leave Darlington likely as the points leader. Before we let you go, though, and head on to Gateway, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just shout out to Rusty and Andrew for putting everything together over here. And then to you. We always love the broadcast from you. You do a great job, and we appreciate you coming out here every week.
We look forward to the rest of the regular season for you. Second place finish for you tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you next week in Gateway.
Yeah, hopefully see you next week.
Christian Schrader back in form, it appears, for the driver of the 30. Well, I'll tell you what, the celebration is still on for the man driving the Grillo's Pickles Chevrolet as he continues to do some burnouts here on the front stretch. And obviously pretty fired up after another win. 3 races in 4 tries for the man driving the 30. Ryan Patty, let's get his perspective on his night as he gets his car pulled into Challenger Cup Series victory lane for the 3rd time in his career. Ryan, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do. How we doing?
Well, not too bad to see the celebration still going on here on the speedway right now. And at first, before we even get into the race, I just kind of want to get into where your headspace is at. I mean, three wins in 4 tries, and this is certainly not a slouch field. I mean, again, we've seen what some of these guys can do, not only this season but last season, and you have come in and pretty much stolen the show the past 4 weeks or so. Another win in Darlington. What's the emotions like? What's the headspace like for you after getting another victory?
I mean, it feels pretty damn good. If you can imagine, getting these wins is something I don't get to do very often. I run a couple of leagues, and this league definitely has some pretty top talent. Obviously, Christian Schrader, Harold Watkins, Andrew Little. I mean, a lot of these guys are really fast. Cody Eldred, really tight battle there for the pole, led a few laps. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to be able to win. You can see me out here celebrating because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to win many more as we start kicking it up for the playoffs.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Cody Eldred. I want to get back to that here as well. And we saw that battle, and I heard guys earlier, and Christian especially, just talking about how hard it was to pass. And we've seen this over the past few weeks. It looked like that was the case again. Really, the first time I think that we've seen you far behind the 8 ball at one point, 3rd on the racetrack on one of those restarts, and just not able to get back to the lead. How did you navigate that? What was the game plan? Because, again, it's an unfamiliar territory for you here on Tuesday nights. Kind of just tell me how you navigated, got back to the lead in that situation about halfway through the race.
Yeah, I mean, I think no one will argue that this car is a difficult car to drive. It's more difficult than the last car because of the narrow, the shorter sidewall, the independent rear suspension. The car is a lot more twitchy, and then compounding that is the aerodynamics, right? And all the drivers will scream about it, that as soon as you get behind somebody, the front end wants to push up the track and you lose all front grip. So as soon as I lost clean air there, behind Cody, the car felt completely different. Entering the turn, mid-turn, just had no front grip, and Just had to modify the way I drove the car, backed up the entrance a little bit, easier on the throttle to not scrub the front tires too much, and then try to catch him on exit. Because I knew I had a tire advantage. I think Cody had about 12 or 13 lap older tires, and I figured that would come in later on. But my first goal was to not give up any more track position trying to pass him too soon. Thankfully that worked out pretty well, and I was able to bide my time until he faded a little bit, and then pounce when the opportunity was there.
Well, and pounce you did, and obviously it ends up with that last pit stop. You managed to nail the green flag cycle, get back to the lead, and then hold off the charging at the end from Strader and Watkins. And I saw something interesting on the last run, and I said with about 30 laps to go, I was going to ask you about this. I saw you modify your line in turns 3 and 4. Was there a game plan to that? Was there an advantage you found doing that? We saw you go down to the apron almost below the dash lines, go right back to your line and kind of gain the time back. What was the thought process there? Was that, planned? Was that something you found during the race? I was so curious about that. I've never seen somebody go down there that far during a race cycle.
Yeah, the track changed quite a bit once the sun set. It was a bit looser with the sun out. I think as the temperature went down, the track tightened up a lot. So it made the front tires sliding even more. And anyone will tell you, like, this track, the car is always loose. But if you find a balance with how you drive it, you can develop a push. You can lose the front grip, and the front grip is really what makes the speed around here. And then, obviously, patience with the throttle is what gets you around the track in the first place. But the reason I was on the apron there is because I was just searching around trying to find a better line, something that gave me a little bit more grip on center corner off. I'd seen Kevin Harvick do that in real life. I don't know, back 5-6 years ago when he was running a race here, wrapping the bottom below the track on the apron, and he made it work. It felt a little better, but then I noticed I was giving up a few tenths a lap, so I had to go back up and just deal with what I had there.
Well, did a good job of it. Obviously managed the tires, managed the equipment enough, and got to victory lane again. It's your third trip to Challenger Cup Series victory lane in 4 tries. So we'll give you another opportunity on the way out the door. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, the whole crew that puts this together, great group of guys. It's fun to be in the radio room with them during the race. It's a lot of fun, a lot of commentary there that makes me laugh, and I appreciate them having me, or inviting me out and keeping me around. Hopefully, I'm not sticking anything up for them here, but I look forward to finishing out the season here and having a lot of fun. And Dawson, thanks for everything you do. Makes it real fun to watch it next morning.
Another trip to victory lane for you at Darlington tonight. Ryan, thanks for your time. Thanks for talking to me for a second. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you next week at Gateway.
Thank you. We'll see you there.
And the party continues for Ryan Patty here down the front straightaway as he will continue to burn the rear tires off of that Grillos Pickles car. And for good reason, I would say, as he gets another victory under his belt in the Challenger Cup Series. Well, that will start to wrap up our coverage tonight from the Darlington Raceway. So glad that you decided to spend a little bit of time with us here on a Tuesday night as Ryan Patty gets another win in the Challenger Cup Series. On from here, it's Gateway next Tuesday night, same time, 8:30 Eastern here on PGR eSports as we bring you 120 laps from Worldwide Technology Raceway in St. Louis, round 11, Season 2 of 2025 in the Challenger Cup Series. On from there, the playoff push continues. Just 4 races remain in the regular season, and the action is heating up on the racetrack. A battle for the regular season championship. Playoff seeding is on the line. And, of course, the playoffs loom for 16 drivers a chance at glory in the Challenger Cup Series. You won't want to miss a thing. Subscribe to PGR eSports today. Capture all the action as we move forward. Austin Green's Grindstone Development Truck Series most likely still live at Darlington as well. Go check him out there on our main page. As for the rest of the week, I'll give the PGR schedule first. I'll give you a personal note after that for myself where I'll be a couple of nights this week. Coming forward on PGR eSports, Thursday night's the PGR eSports Intimidator Super Speedway Series as it comes out of last week's Duo Randomizer event, which was a lot of fun to watch as I believe Malik Ray picked up the victory in that race. We'll head now this week to the Gen 4s making their return at the Talladega Super Speedway, so should be some old school style racing if that's what you're into, that's your cup of tea. Come on out for that. Next Thursday night, I want to put you on notice for a special event in PGR next Thursday, September the 11th. It is ARCA Cars at Bristol in honor of the Bristol weekend. Can't wait for that one. That one's going to be a lot of fun as well. Friday night, it's Landon Velicki's Midnight Racing League broadcast alongside Trevor Ostronoth in the booth. The boys over at Midnight, Justin Melikar and company, do a really great job with their league that they put on. Landon's done a great job covering it. They'll have the coverage for you on PGR eSports on Friday night. Then next week, the PGR VRX Light Series returns for points racing. That's right, next week is race 1 of the PGR Light Series here on PGR eSports. It's Landon Velicki and Trevor Ostronoth bring you all the action from the Light Series, from the developmental series for PGR eSports. It's back, and better than ever, it's time to light it up. It's the Light Series on Monday night. And then we're back here Tuesday night for the Challenger Cup Series at 8:30, and the Grindstone Development Truck Series is back next week at 9 o'clock with Austin Green as well. On a personal note, tomorrow night, I'm going to get another great opportunity to head on over and call a race with the OB Builders Cup Series of the Moonshiners Racing League as they begin their playoffs here in Darlington. I will get to call that one. That should be a lot of fun. Last week at Daytona, it was a heck of a time. Myself and Justin Prince had the call for that one. That was a ball. I had a great time. They have invited me back here for this week at Darlington, so can't wait to be there with them here tomorrow night. That will be over on Precision Speed Solutions TV. So I can't wait for that one tomorrow night. Hope you'll come and join me for that. But hope you'll join us here on PGR eSports throughout the next week, but also next week when the Challenger Cup Series returns from Gateway. That's going to do it tonight from Darlington. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching PGR eSports coverage of the Challenger Cup Series as Ryan Patty goes to victory lane in Darlington. That'll do it for us. Thank you so much for spending your time with us tonight. Have a great night. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Tuesday.